Would you want to know how to rank your website on Google? Then you want to stick around for this WordPress SEO tutorial for rookies. Stick till the end of this conversation. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous if you were to ask me. And if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about how to rank your website on Google, specifically how to rank your WordPress website on Google. And we're going to talk about SEO tutorial. We're going to talk about SEO tips and tricks for beginners. I'm giving you a step-by-step. Before we get into the nitty-gritty here, we all know the idea of optimizing for WordPress SEO can be kind of intimidating, right? Especially if you're a beginner. And if you're not a tech geek, this could be even a daunting task. But don't worry, it doesn't have to be complicated. I'm going to walk you through the basics here, and you can start applying them to your own website. What is SEO? Let's just get into the nitty-gritty. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. So it's basically a strategy that a website owner uses to get more traffic by ranking higher in search engines. So you basically, instead of being on page 32 or 132, you want to be on the first page of Google search results, right? So search engine optimization isn't about tricking Google or gaming the system. It's simply about creating a website that has optimized code and formatting, which makes it easy for search engines and their algorithms to find your website. So when people search for the topics that you write about, your search engine optimized content will appear higher in the search results, and you'll get more people clicking through to your website. SEO is very important because search engines are often the biggest source of traffic for most websites. So Google and other search engines such as Bing and Yahoo Search, they use advanced algorithms to understand and rank pages appropriately in search results, right? Now, one thing, having said that, those algorithms are not perfect. They still need your help to understand what your traffic is about. So if your content is not optimized, guess what? Search engines will not know how to rank it. So when people search for the topics you write about or talk about, your websites will not appear in the search results and you'll miss out on all that traffic. Think about it. Not good. So it is therefore really important, folks, if you're a business owner, to make your website search engine friendly so that they can maximize their search traffic. So in terms of WordPress SEO, what are the basics? SEO can get very technical, folks. It doesn't have to be, especially when it comes to WordPress. So just learning a few basic SEO tips to optimize your site can give you a noticeable boost in your website traffic. You don't have to be a tech geek. You don't have to be a whiz. You don't have to have a PhD in SEO. If you're already using WordPress, then you got all it takes. So let's just get started here, folks. One thing that you want to start is you want to check your website's visibility settings. So WordPress comes with built-in options to hide your websites from search engines. So what you want to do is, and the reason why they have that is they want to give you time to work on your websites before it's ready to go public. Sometimes this option, though, can get checked accidentally and it makes your website unavailable to search engines. So if your website is not appearing in search results, then the first thing you want to do is to make sure that this option is unchecked. So simply log into the admin area of your WordPress and the WordPress platform, and you want to visit settings and then rating page. You need to scroll down to the search engine visibility section and make sure that the box next to discourage search engines from indexing the sites is unchecked. Don't forget to click on the Save Changes button to store your changes. I want to talk to you about using SEO-friendly URL structures in WordPress. This is very important, folks, because SEO-friendly URLs contain words that clearly explains the content of the page, and they're easy to read by both humans and search engines. Let me give you an example. We'll put it on the screen here. So some examples of SEO-friendly URLs are, we have here www.cnet.com/how-to-install-WordPress/ or www.cnet.com common WordPress errors and how to fix them / You can see that those URLs are readable and a user can guess what they will see on the page just by looking at the URL text. Now, how does a non-SEO friendly URL look like? You have it on the screen also. Right now you have cnet.com / P equal 104067. This reads like a code to me, right? Or the second one, example.com /archive/123. So remember that, as you can see, those URLs use numbers unrelated to the content, and a user cannot guess what they will find on the page by looking at the URL. So using SEO-friendly permalink structure improves your chances of getting better positions in search results. So here's how you can check and update your WordPress site's permalink structure. So you need to go to the settings and then permalinks page. So you select the post name option and then click on the Save Changes button to store your settings. Now, one thing I want to specify though, if your website has been running for more than 6 months, then don't change your permalink structure unless you're using the numbers option. Because if you're using day and name or month and name, you want to continue using that. Because by changing your permalink structure on an established site, you will lose all of your social media share count, and you'll run the risk of losing even your existing SEO ranking. So this is very important to not do that. So if you must change your permalink structure, then you can hire a professional so they can set up proper redirects. You will still lose your social share accounts on the pages though. Just want to clarify that. Let's talk about www versus non-www. So if you're just starting your website, then you need to choose whether you want to use www, for example, http //www.example.com, or you just want to go after the http rather / example.com in your site URL. What I'm trying to say is, you want to have www.cnn.com or cnn.com. So search engines consider these two to be two different websites. So this means you need to choose one and stick to it. You can set your preference by visiting the settings general page. So adding your preferred URL in both the WordPress address and site address fields. Despite what people might say, from an SEO standpoint, there is no advantage to using one or another. You also need to think about the best WordPress SEO plugin, because one of the best parts about WordPress is that there is a plugin for everything, right? And SEO is no exception. So there are thousands of WordPress SEO plugins, which makes it harder for beginners to choose the best WordPress SEO plugin. Instead of installing separate plugins for individual SEO tests, it's very important to understand that you would need to choose the best WordPress SEO plugin. So you can choose the two most popular solutions are Yoast SEO and All-in-One SEO Pack. You also need to think about adding XML sitemaps in WordPress. Now, in terms of WordPress SEO plugins, we're not giving a recommendation here. We believe that Yoast SEO is as good as All-in-One SEO Pack, so you might want to do your own research and figure out what will work for you. So I was talking about adding XML sitemaps in WordPress. Now, an XML sitemap is a particularly formatted file that lists every single page on your website. So this makes it very easy for search engines to find all of your content, right? You're giving them the GPS to your WordPress site. So while adding an XML sitemap does not boost your site's search rankings, it does help search engines find the pages quickly and start ranking them, which is very important. This is rapidity, swiftness is very important when it comes to SEO. So if you're using, for instance, the Yoast SEO plugin, then it will automatically create an XML sitemap for you. So to find your sitemap, just go to you want to go, for example, to your WordPress general settings, and you want to look into the settings. All right, let's talk about adding your site to Google Search Consoles. But I will talk about that right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How you doing today? I hope you are still with us. We really appreciate having you around. And we're talking today about how to rank your websites on Google. And this is a WordPress SEO tutorial. And I was talking to you before the commercial break about, the adding your site to Google Search Console. And if you love the content's clarity and quality so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you can be informed in real time whenever we drop a new show. And we drop this kind of shows every single day, rain or shine. Like this content, share, and most importantly, comment below, ask questions, we'll get back to you. So Google Search Console, aka Webmaster Tools, is a set of tools offered by Google to give website owners a look at how their content is seen by the search engine. So this is kind of great. It's a great tool. It provides reports and data to help you understand how your pages appear in search results. So you also get to see the actual search terms people are using to find your website, how each page appears in the search results, and how often your pages are clicked. So all that kind of information helps you do what? Understand. It helps you understand what's working on your site, and what's not. So you can then plan your content strategy accordingly. So Google Search Console will also alert you when there is something wrong with your websites, like when search crawlers are unable to access it, find duplicate content, or restricted resources. So once you have added your website to Google Search Console, you want to click on the sitemap from the left menu and then paste the last part of the sitemap URL. You want to click on the submit button to save your changes. So Google Search Console will now check your sitemap, and they will use it actually to improve your website's crawling. So once you have successfully added your sitemap, it will appear as pending. Now you have to understand it does take some time for Google to crawl your website, but after a few hours, sometimes between 6 and 10 hours, you would be able to see some stats about your sitemap. It will show you the number of links it found in your sitemap, how many of them got indexed, a ratio of images and web pages, etc. So actually, we recommend that you check your Search Console at least on a monthly basis for gathering insights and see your website's SEO progress. This is important. If you're working on a strategy, you want to see that the strategy is working or not. How do you optimize your blog post for SEO? So often rookies will make the mistake of thinking that installing and activating a WordPress SEO plugin is all that's needed. No, not at all. SEO is an ongoing process that you must set up, you must keep up with if you want to see maximum results. So all top SEO plugins allow you to add a title, description, and focus keywords to every blog page and post. It also shows you a preview of what users will see when they Google your websites. So we actually recommend that you optimize your title and description to get maximum clicks. This is very important. So when writing your blog post, you want to simply scroll down to the SEO section and take full advantage of it. So we kind of highly recommend that you read it because on-page SEO is critical for your success. Let's talk about doing keyword research for your site. It's very important, especially if you are in a very competitive industry. You want to do keyword research for your site. Many rookies use their best guesses to figure out what topics people are looking for and what they should add to their blogs and website. But guess what? This is not the right way. This is like shooting an arrow in the dark. You don't need to do that when you can use real data to find out what people are looking for. So keyword research is a research technique used by content creators and SEO experts. So it helps you discover words users enter into search engines, for example, to find things like content, products, and even services in your industry. So you can then use those keywords and phrases into your website to get more traffic. So there are a ton of keyword research tools. You have both. Some of them are paid, some of them are free that you can use. And you have it goes from Ahrefs to SEMrush, and you can even use HubSpot, among others. And those will help you discover keywords and even find out the keywords where your competitors are ranking. What about WordPress SEO best practices? So if you follow the basics of WordPress SEO and use the best WordPress SEO plugin that I just talked to you about, you will find you already be ahead of most websites. That's hands down. However, if you want even better results, then you need to follow the WordPress SEO best practices that I'm going to talk to you about now. So those are not really, don't be scared though. I mean, you don't have to. It's not too technical, and most of those practices I'm talking about here, they will not even require you to touch any code, but they will make a big difference if you follow them. So the first thing I want you to think about is you want to properly use categories and tags in WordPress. So WordPress allows you to sort your blog post into categories, right? And also tags. So if you really think about it, this makes it easier to manage your content by topics and for your users to find the content they're looking for in the first place. So categories and tags also help search engines understand your website's structure and content. So often rookies will get confused on how to best use categories and tags. So let me give you a very simple way to understand the whole thing and go about it. So categories are meant for broad groupings of your post. So if your blog was a book, then categories will be the table of content. Think about that. So for example, on a personal blog, you can have categories like music, food, travel. So categories are hierarchical. So you can add child categories to them. On the other hand, so that's the explanation for categories. On the other hand, tags are more specific keywords that describe the content of an individual post. For example, a blog post filed under the food category can have tags like salad, breakfast, pancakes, etc. So you want to think of this as indexes section in a textbook. So by using categories and tags properly, you can make it easy for your users to browse your website. And since it is very easy for users, it also makes it easier for search engines to browse your websites. Let's talk about other best practices. You want to make internal linking a habit, not just external here. We talk about backlinks, but here I'm talking about interlinks. So search engines assign each page on your website a score. That's what experts call page authority. So the recipe of this score is kept secret so that people cannot gain the results. However, the most common signals of authority are links. So this is why it's important that you link to your own content from your other blogs and posts. Your other pages and posts rather. So you want to make it a habit to interlink your own post whenever possible. So if you have multiple authors, then create a pre-published blog post checklist that requires them to interlink at least 3 other blog posts. This will help you boost your page views, increase the time users spend on your site, and ultimately will improve the SEO score of your individual blog posts and pages. You also want to optimize WordPress comments, because comments, if you think about it, there are quasi-reviews. They can be a strong indication of user engagement on your website. You might not have on your WordPress blog, you might not have the likes and the share button. Nowadays we have them, but they're not like social media, like Facebook or YouTube. But people commenting means that they're interested, they're engaged, and engaged users mean more links back to your sites, more traffic, and improved SEO. However, you need to make sure that your comments are real and not spam, because spammers submit comment with bad links which could affect and even ruin your search rankings. So if your blog posts attract a lot of genuine, spam-free comments, then you should pat yourself on the shoulder for building such an engaging website. However, too many comments on a post can make it load slower, which also affects your search engine rankings. I also want to talk to you now about the no-follow links in WordPress. This is an issue that we have seen lately, and this has been very, 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 very serious for a lot of WordPress bloggers. So links help search engines decide which pages are important, right? I just said that. So when you link to a website, you are passing some of your site's SEO score to that link. So this SEO score is called link juice. So for good search rankings, you need to make sure that you are getting more link juice from other websites than you're giving away. So adding the no-follow attribute to external links, in other words, links to websites that you don't own, instructs search engines not to follow these links. So this helps you save link juice. A normal external link looks like this in HTML. We're going to show that on the screen. And An external link with the no follow attributes looks like this. Again, we're showing this on the screen here. So by default here, WordPress does not come with an option to make links no follow. However, you can still easily do that by manually modifying links. So you can do that by manually modifying the links, right? So you simply want to select the block containing your link and then click on the 3 vertical dots icon present at the top bar. So this will open a menu when you can just click on the edit as HTML option. So you will see the HTML code of your link. So you want to go ahead and add the rel equal no follow attribute to the link element. And the thing here is that if you see the rel equal no opener no refer attribute in the HTML code, then all you have to do is to add a space after no refer and add no follow after that. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are also having a conversation here around how to rank your website in Google, and we're talking about WordPress SEO here. We're giving you the basics, and now I'm just getting a little deeper in terms of the more advanced options, the best practices that you have in when it comes to WordPress SEO. And let me talk now about full posts versus summaries or excerpts. WordPress displays and links to your post from a number of pages like homepage, category archive, tags archive, date archive, author pages, etc. Right? So by default, what you have is that WordPress shows the full article content on all these pages. This affects your site's SEO, as search engines may find it to be duplicate content. So full articles also make your archive pages load slower. So slow and full articles everywhere also affect your page views. For example, users who subscribe to your RSS feed will be able to read the full article in their feed reader without even visiting your website. So the easiest way to solve this is by showing summaries or excerpts instead of full articles. So you can do so by going to settings, reading, and select summary. How do you speed and solidify the security for your WordPress SEO? So even if you follow all of the WordPress SEO tips and best practices we just talked about, if your site is slow or gets taken down by a hacker, your search engine rankings will take a big hit. So let's just talk about how to prevent your sites from losing search engine traffic due to slow performance or lack security. How do you optimize your site speed and performance? The thing is that research has shown that in this internet era, the average human attention span is shorter than that of a goldfish. So web usability experts believe that users decide whether they want to stay or leave within a few seconds of visiting a website. That means that as a website owner, you only have a few seconds to present your content and engage users. Think about that. So you don't want to waste this precious time making your visitor wait for your website to load, actually. So search engines like Google and Bing now rank faster websites higher than slow loading websites. And this is across all devices, folks. On mobile, on desktop, on tablets and phablets. Let's talk about optimizing images in WordPress for SEO. So images are more engaging than text, we all know that, but they also take more time to load. So if you're not careful with image sizes and quality, then they can slow down your website. So when it comes to that, what you want to do with images, that you want to make sure to use images that are optimized to load faster. Very important. So another trick you can use is to optimize your images for search engines so that they use a descriptive title and alt tags. So this tags help search engines understand what your image is about. So they also help users with visual impairment, as their screen readers can read the alt text to them. Alt text stands for alternative text, by the way. So WordPress allows you to easily add title and alt tags when you upload an image. So So if you are a photographer or add a lot of images to your WordPress site, then you need to use a gallery plugin. Let's also talk now about the security and safety of your WordPress site. This is very important because, believe it or not, every week, every single week, Google blacklists around 20,000 websites for malware and around 50,000 for phishing. So when a site is blacklisted, it doesn't show up in any search results at all. This means that the security of your WordPress site is crucial for good rankings, right? So because the last thing you want is to have all your hard work on SEO go to waste if your site is compromised by a hacker. The good news is that it's not that difficult to keep your WordPress site safe, though. We will cover the WordPress security basics in another show, but this is an important element. And one thing that you also want to do in terms of securing your website is to start using SSL and HTTPS. SSL stands for Secure Sockets Layer, and this is a technology that encrypts the connection between a user's browser and the server they are connected to. So this, if you think about it, this adds an extra security layer to your WordPress site. So websites secure with SSL are indicated by a padlock sign in the browser's address bar. So this makes your website more trustworthy, and it is required if you are running an online store with WordPress and processing sensitive payment information. The great news is that all top WordPress hosting companies, they offer free SSL certificates with Let's Encrypt. So if you want, let's say you want a premium wildcard SSL certificate or just a regular certificate with security warranty, then you can use a platform called domain.com. The great thing here is that that company has SSL certificates that are affordable, especially if you are in an industry such as e-commerce business. So you can get SSL certificates with a minimum of 10,000 security warranty and up to $1.75 million security warranty. And you also get a trust logo site deal, and you get a trust logo site seal to display on your site for added credibility. And those things are kind of important, especially if you are in an industry where consumer trust, consumer faith in your website, in your content is very important. And they also want to make sure that you are actually protecting their information, whether it is financial information or personal information such as security number or name or address, that kind of stuff. All right, folks, this is it for today. And I was talking to you about how to rank your websites on Google, and I've been talking about a few things, and let me quickly recap what we talked about today. So I was giving you a WordPress SEO tutorial, and this tutorial was for rookies but also for experienced practitioners, and I kind of gave you a definition of what SEO is, why SEO is important, the basics of WordPress SEO, and explain to you why it is important to check your site's visibility settings using SEO-friendly URL structures in WordPress. So you want to have URL structures that are readable. I also talked to you about using www versus non-www. The pros and cons. I spoke about the best WordPress SEO plugin, or SEO plugins rather, and how to choose the best WordPress SEO plugin, how to add XML sitemaps in WordPress and why you should, and also talked a little bit about how to add your site to Google Search Console. This is very important. How to optimize your blog post for SEO. We talked about doing keyword research for your websites, and also had some elements around WordPress SEO best practices. For example, properly using categories and tags in WordPress. That's very important. I also spoke about how to make internal linking a habit. This is something that a lot of experts have talked about time and again. I also talked about optimizing WordPress comments. So basically, you are optimizing the WordPress comment. You are using non-follow external links in WordPress because you're trying to save some link juice. It's very important. I also talked about full posts versus summaries or excerpts. I spoke about speed and security for WordPress SEO. I also talked about optimizing your site's speed and performance. Very important. I spoke about optimizing images in WordPress for SEO. And the last two, I spoke about security and safety of your WordPress site, and start using SSL HTTPS. Thank you so much for listening to this conversation. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.